Hi, my name is Chris Zobel, and I'm a professor of business information technology in the Pamplin College of Business at Virginia Tech. My background in academic training is in analytical problem solving, and I have a PhD in systems engineering from the University of Virginia, a master's degree in mathematics from UNC Chapel Hill, and a bachelor's degree in math from Colgate University. My particular research interests are focused on disaster operations management, and particularly on studying supply chain resilience and humanitarian logistics. Within this general class of problems, I'm especially interested in the challenge of quantifying disaster resilience, a concept that's surprisingly complex and multifaceted. My hope is that by coming up with better approaches for quantifying the resilience of cyber-physical social networks, we'll be able to develop more effective strategies and policies to help households, businesses, and communities resist against and then recover from the effects of natural disasters. Resilience is particularly complex when you consider it from a more holistic perspective, because the resilience of a physical structure like a bridge is very different than that of a natural system like a coastal marsh, or a human system such as a family or a community. The following lecture focuses on community resilience, but from the standpoint of how an engineering or operations management viewpoint can be used to explore the nature of the concept. Most of my experience dealing with the human side of disaster management is related to humanitarian operations, so this definitely colors my perspective in such a discussion. As a disclaimer, I've done quite a bit of collaboration in this area with colleagues from the social sciences, particularly from urban planning and geography, but my approach and perspective are different than what those colleagues would be if they were discussing the same topic. My treatment of the complexity of human behavior is at a much higher, more general level than what they would be able to provide. In the end, my hope is that this lecture can serve to identify a number of interesting characteristics of assessing resilience within a complex socioeconomic system, particularly when that assessment grows out of a quantitative, data-driven perspective. The discussion itself will be in two parts. In the first part, I'm going to talk specifically about how community disaster resilience can be and has been measured. I'll define resilience the way that I typically tend to think of it, which is in relation to the well-known disaster resilience triangle. And then we'll talk a bit about how this can or can't be used to characterize the more social aspects of resilience. Included in this part of the discussion will be a very high-level overview of a number of existing community resilience frameworks. In the second part of the discussion, I'll look more generally at an example of blending the social science perspective into disaster operations management. I'll do this by introducing a measure of risk that is well known in the social science literature, but less so in the engineering literature. And I'll discuss how it can help us incorporate the social aspects of a disaster more directly into traditional operations management type approaches for calculating risk and resilience. The main takeaway that I hope students are able to get from this discussion is a better understanding of the complexity and importance of the social aspect of disaster resilience, even, or perhaps particularly, when one takes an engineering-based approach to characterizing, understanding, and improving the resilience of a cyber-physical social system.